I travel all over the country, and I'm going to tell you one thing I know about America. If you're going to freeze to death in America, you're going to be in the South and you're going to be inside. Now, once there was a prince. He was a mountain prince. He lived on a grange, which is an old word for farm. And the reason I use it is so I can make this rhyme. He lived on a grange on a mountain range. And he wanted to marry a princess. But he didn't want to marry any old princess. He wanted to marry a mountain princess. And so he said to his mama, he lives with his mama, which I think explains a few things. He said to his mama, he said, Mama, I'm going to go out, I'm going to marry me a real mountain princess. He said, the only problem is there ain't no real mountain princesses in the general vicinity. So I'm going to go to all the mountain ranges in all the world, find me a real mountain princess. So he set out. And he ascended the Alps and the Appalachians, and he hiked through the Himalayas, and he roamed through the Rockies, and he cruised through the Caucasus, and he went to the Sierra Nevadas to see if anybody had a tiara. And he went to Glass Mountain, see if anybody had just one shoe. But he couldn't find any real mountain princesses. He met a couple ladies who said they were princesses, but he wasn't sure if they were really princesses, because let's face it, princess costumes just aren't that expensive. And so he went home and he said to his mama, Mama, I couldn't find me no real mountain princess. He said, I met a couple of ladies who said they were princesses, but I think they were frauds. He said, now I kissed those frauds to see if they would turn into princesses. And his mama said, don't kiss frauds, you'll get warts. And that night there was a terrible storm. There was a hurricane and a blizzard and a tsunami and a thunderstorm and a tornado and an earthquake. And in the midst of all that, there was a knock at the door. And the prince went and he opened the door, and there, standing on his front porch, was 3 beautiful princesses. And he was so excited until they said, trick or treat. And he... But the next morning was a beautiful day, and he was out in the field doing some work, and he saw a woman coming down the road. She had on hiking boots and a calico dress, and her hair was a mess. And she said, howdy, I'm a real mountain princess. And he didn't know if she was a real mountain princess or not, because he didn't know if real princesses walked around in hiking boots and a calico dress with their hair in a mess. But she did have a sash that said, Mountain Princess. So he thought maybe. So he took her home. And he introduced her to his mama. He said, Mama, this here lady says she's a real mountain princess. And the mama wasn't sure either. So she said to the son, we got to test her. I don't know if she's a real princess. Let's test her. What I want you to do is I want you to take 21 mattresses, and I want you to pile them up on the back of your pickup truck. And when it comes time for bed, we'll have her sleep on top of them mattresses. And if she don't notice that she's sleeping on a pickup truck, we'll know she's a real mountain princess. And the son said, okay, Mama, we're brainstorming, so no bad ideas. But, couple of things. First of all, we don't have 21 mattresses. He said, we got 3 mattresses, an air mattress, and one of them blow-up raft things. And his mama said, use what you got. And then he said, also, how is she not going to notice the pickup truck? He said, I bought that pickup truck specifically so princesses would notice me. And the mama said, how's that working for you? But she thought about it for a minute and she said, dust ruffle. And so the prince put the mattresses on the pickup truck, and when it came time for bed, he was all like, oh, it's time for bed. Princess, let me show you where you will be sleeping. It's out the front door, across the driveway, up this ladder, on top of this pile of mattresses. Nothing weird about that. So the princess climbed up and she went to sleep. And when they thought that she was good and asleep, the mama gave the keys to the truck to the son, which is a sentence I never want to have to diagram. And she said, now, I want you to get in this truck and I want you to drive. I want you to drive uphill. I want you to drive downhill. I want you to drive on curvy roads. I want you to drive on bumpy roads. And if she don't notice she's sleeping on a pickup truck, we'll know she's a real mountain princess. And the prince said, okay, Mama, brainstorming. But if I go down a bumpy road, she's going to, like that. And I don't want to marry a roadkill princess. Now, I will pause to tell you this one thing right now. We in West Virginia, in a lot of my stories, I like to pretend like all West Virginians are smart, but we know there's got to be some dumb people somewhere. Just like you. Just like you, we have a legislature, is what I meant to say. And a decade or so ago, the legislature of West Virginia, in their infinite wisdom, decided to make roadkill legal to eat. Yeah. And in honor of that, in Marlinton, West Virginia, the culinary event of the year in West Virginia, they have the roadkill cook-off. Yes. And as part of that, they have a beauty contest. And it's my second favorite beauty contest. The winner of that beauty contest, she is Miss Roadkill for an entire year. My favorite beauty contest in West Virginia, in Benedum, West Virginia, they have the Benedum Oil and Gas Festival, and one lucky young lady is named Miss Oil and Gas. So, anyway, the prince said if she falls out, I don't want to marry a roadkill princess, and the mama said, clamp it! It's the best Beverly Hillbilly joke you're going to get this year. And she took a big ribbon and she tied the princess to the top of the truck, and the prince got in the truck and he went uphill and he went downhill and he went on bumpy roads and he went on curvy roads and he this is a children's story, so there are obligatory puns, and here they come. He put it in four-wheel drive so that he could ford a stream, and then he had to dodge a ram, and then he drove across the tundra. And then he had to pull to the side of the road to comb his hair. Yeah, fifth grader gave me that joke. And then he started to get drowsy, and drowsy driving is dangerous driving, so he decided to head home. And he headed home, and he parked the truck, and the princess was still snoring in a very unprincess-like manner. And the prince went in, and he went to sleep. And in the morning, he and his mama were eating breakfast, and the princess came in, and she said, morning, how'd y'all sleep? And they said, we slept fine, which was a lie, because they did not have any mattresses. And they said, how did you sleep? And she said, best night of sleep I ever had in my whole life. Dreamt I was riding on a bucking bronco all night long. And then they knew that she was a real mountain princess. And the prince and the princess got married. And they lived happily ever after, sometimes in two-wheel drive, sometimes in four-wheel drive. But they always managed to thrive. The end. I just want to say, first of all, excellent job. All of you just did a fantastic job. So thank you for letting me be part of this. Also, that is a book, The Princess and the Pickup Truck. I'm only telling you this for this reason. When I asked my illustrator, I said, I want you to make my princess diverse. And so she made her a brunette instead of a blonde. So there you go. Thank you guys very much.